Time to wake up. It's Saturday morning. Find some milk and cereal. Grab a bowl and spoon. No, a bigger spoon. Head to the living room and take a seat on the floor while Joseph and Chris present to you Saturday Morning Cartoon!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cartoon Boom. This is a show where we wake up with a Saturday morning sun, popped on the floor with the big bowl of sugar here, and watch all your favorite cartoons, both old and new. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris. Ding, ding, ding. Time for school.
Time for detention.
That's that's where you'll find me.
And this morning, we watched Recess.
Woo!
I love this show. I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but I was so excited for you to finally watch this show because it's one that I'm pretty fond of, and it really holds up.
I was trying to think of why I never really watched it back in the day, and I think I actually put my finger on it. I think it's because this was like, you know, one of those Disney created kind of properties, and like I'm thinking about what is the other kind of stuff I'm watching back then. Like Mighty Max, Biker Mice from Mars, Beast Wars, things like that. And I'm just like, it's just not edgy enough. You know, I think that's what it was. I honestly think that little Chris was just like, there's no edge.
Not enough 90s tude to this.
Yeah, I think there wasn't enough 90s tude. Like even with Spinelli in there, it just wasn't enough. I needed all Spinellis for me to be any interested in this.
So it would have been preferable to you if either the team all had weapons of some sort, all rode motorcycles, or were all anthropomorphic animals of some kind.
Yeah, they should have all been anthropomorphic mutants at school fighting against other anthropomorphic mutants, which were like their teachers or something.
I mean, that sounds like that does sound like a pretty cool show, though, honestly.
Yeah, I like the idea.
But so that's the reason, going back, that you didn't watch this before, you think?
Exactly. Like, I mean, I caught episodes once in a while when, like, you know, you turn on the TV in the morning before school, and for whatever reason, there was like some event going on and your show wasn't on. And I'm like, now I got to watch Recess. No, that's the only thing that's on. And so it'd just be on, and I'd be sitting there eating my Lucky Charms, just being mad at the world.
Oh, man, now I want some Lucky Charms.
Yeah, I just told Rochelle to buy some because she's at the store.
Nice.
I was like, please get some.
Oh, dude, what I really want is that Monster Mash cereal that's like a combination of
with
all
everything.
Yes, but I can't find it anywhere.
Oh, man.
Do you have some?
No, but we're going to have to get it from the scalpers on eBay or something.
Someone send it to me.
I'm going to pay like $300 for a box of cereal.
Well, going back to what we were talking about, the show Recess aired from 1997 to 2001, created by Paul Germain and Joe and Bear, and that is a very difficult name to...
Bear?
And Bear.
Oh, they Bear, like it was a bear that just did it all by himself.
No. It's ANSOLABEHERE.
Wow.
And Bear, yeah.
I don't like that.
Produced by Walt Disney Television Animation, and then Paul and Joe Productions from 2000 to 2001, which were seasons 5 and 6. This ran for 6 seasons, 65 episodes, which were broken out into 127 segments, because these were usually like 2 12 to 15-minute episodes, plus 4 movies after the show ended. And the original network was ABC One Saturday Morning / ABC Kids for seasons 1 through 3 and 5, and then UPN on Disney's 1, 2, seasons 4 and 6. For a short synopsis, comic tales of a group of good friends, 4 boys and 2 girls, during breaks in primary school as they grow up, relate to each other, and have brushes with authority.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah. And there's some imagination there in between. And antics, lots of antics.
So many antics.
Yeah, lots of antics.
Who suggested this to us?
This was suggested to us by Michael J. Recon, or Reckon, one of those, via Instagram. So thank you, Michael.
So who were some of the actors who played in this show?
So the voice of TJ was originally Ross Malinger for season 1, And then that mantle was taken up by Andrew Lawrence, who's one of the famous Lawrence brothers that I forgot existed
Nice.
until now. He was known for shows like Brotherly Love, Oliver Bean, and The United States of Terra. He's also done some voice work for the cartoon The Kids from Room 402. The voice of Vince was provided by Ricky Deshawn Collins, who was also the voice of Tucker from Danny Phantom. And actually, that character appears in some other shows as well, which is interesting, and I didn't realize. The character of Spinelli was voiced by Pamela Adlon, probably known more for the large amount of major television appearances that she's made on a variety of very popular shows. But you may recognize her very similar voice as her character Spinelli in her role as Milo from The Oblongs, and more famously, Bobby Hill from King of the Hill.
Thank you. I was like, you better mention that. You better mention Bobby.
No, I'm just going to completely ignore Bobby.
I thought you were going to just glaze past it.
Bobby. The character of Mikey was voiced by Jason Davis, who only took on a few other roles and then sadly passed away last year in 2020.
Oh, man.
The character of Gretchen was voiced by Ashley Johnson, who's one of our reoccurring names on this podcast that we hear very, very often, who's had lots of well-known live roles in popular TV and film, also on podcasts like Critical Role and video games like the voice of Ellie in The Last of Us. But she's also known for voicing many major characters in cartoons like Ben 10, that whole franchise, honestly, Naruto, Teen Titans Go, and Infinity Train. The character of Gus was voiced by Cortland Mead, who also provided the voice of Lloyd Nebulon in Lloyd in Space. Now, I didn't mention it, but there's actually quite a few voice actors from this show that also make additional appearances in that same cartoon, Lloyd in Space. Not all of them given like character names, but you'll see them next to like additional roles and various voices and things like that in the same thing. The character of Randall was voiced by Ryan O'Donoghue, who was the voice of Matt McGinnis, which was Terry McGinnis's little brother in Batman Beyond. He was also the voice of the Builders in Bob the Builder, and Demix, I don't know how you say it, in the Kingdom Hearts series. We will definitely get corrected on that later.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And then the character of Miss Finster was voiced by April Winchell, who's had lots of major roles in Disney cartoons like Goof Troop, Bonkers, 101 Dalmatians, the series, Disney's The Mighty Ducks, Pepper Ann, and much more. And I think we've talked about her on the show before. She's also the voice of Clarabelle Cow since 1999, and anything that character shows up in, whether it is TV, film, video games, multiple places. So she will always be the voice of the cow, which I don't know how she sounds. Maybe it's just a moo. I don't know. Moo!
Oh, yeah. Who knows?
I don't know. Oh, man. Could you imagine getting paid a lot of money just to moo? Oh, that would be great. I need to start advertising just doing animal noises on Fiverr. Like, I'm done doing all of the characters and the narration stuff. I need to just make noises.
I want to just do animal noises, but I'm going to do them very literally and not actually make the sounds. It'll just be like moo, woof, meow. Like, those will be my animals.
What about a fish? Bubble.
Bubble, bloop, bloop, bloop. Oh, there it is. Bloop. Bloop, 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 bloop.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, it will be very serious animals.
Yeah.
You can find me on Fiverr also. Please hire me.
Hire him for your bloops.
For my bloops. So for a few tasty marshmallows out of our big bowl of recess cereal, Paul Germain based Gretchen Grundler on childhood pictures of his wife, which is fun.
Oh no, man. Okay.
Finster's last name comes from the German word sinister, but also Finster means spinster. Yeah, makes sense.
I always kind of made that association, but for whatever reason, like, I also had this weird association that Randall, his name was Finster also. I don't know why.
Huh.
Like, in my mind, when someone says Finster, I think of him, but then I always think if someone says Miss Finster, I think of Miss Finster. And I
weird.
don't have it. Yeah, I don't know why. That's My brain broke.
I guess it's because you usually don't see Randall unless Miss Finster's there.
Right.
The Upside Down Girl has many physical similarities with Helga Pataki from Hey Arnold. Her voice actress is Francesca Smith, who also played Helga Pataki on the Nickelodeon series. The two characters have similar clothes and hairstyles, and one could argue a violent disposition. Now, I don't know the Upside Down Girl enough to know that she has a violent disposition, but
yeah,
I guess we didn't, in these episodes at least, we didn't see too much of her.
Yeah, I didn't see her causing any violence or mayhem, so I can't really comment on that one.
But I do agree that she does have a similar look to Helga. As far as like her pigtails and pink dress goes.
Yep, I do remember because we did see her in this first episode.
Yeah. Joe and Paul originally wrote this series as a show reflecting the daily life of the late 80s and 90s being taken into the classroom. However, both decided to give the plot a twist, turning the students of the school into an American micro-society with leaders, King Bob, political division, the classrooms, authorities, which were the teachers, stereotypes of the social society and social class problems. The topic of xenophobia was even treated as Gus being a student from another school and respecting different cultures with the kindergartners.
It's really interesting. Yeah, I didn't really think about all of that to an extent, but now I'm like, huh.
Yeah, I mean, it's something you don't really notice as a kid, but as an adult, you can see the hierarchies there and all of the segmentation of a basic societal breakdown. It's interesting.
Yeah.
In Fillmore, Season 3, Episode 2, codename Electric Haircut, there's a Spinelli cameo among the students in the dining room, along with the character from Kim Possible. So that's 3 shows that we've watched all strung into one in one of the Fillmore episodes, which is pretty cool.
I like it.
And then lastly, King Bob was initially inspired by a children's version of the character Glenn Lance, who was Johnny Depp from A Nightmare on Elm Street from 1984, which is one of Paul Germain's favorite movies.
That's weird. I don't remember him lording over a playground in that movie.
Yeah, I guess it was like more the Jersey and stuff. I don't know, though.
Yeah, it could be.
Maybe a very loose interpretation.
Before we let you out of class to talk about the real fun stuff of the episode, we just want to remind you to share this episode or your favorite episode of Cartoon Boom on social media by hitting the share button on whatever podcast app you're using. That really does us a big favor and helps us reach out to more potential listeners, which we need to keep this thing going. And if you're new here, go leave a review on Apple Podcasts if that's where you're listening to us, and we will read your comments on a future episode. And feel free to be real generous with those stars, all 5 of them. Anyway, bell's about to ring, so let's get back to the show.
So let's go ahead and jump into the episodes about for today's show. The very first one was The Break-In, Season 1, Episode 1A. TJ gets detention during recess. His friends must enlist the help of the rest of the playground to rescue him.
Yeah, I love the beginning of this where they're like eating well, I say eating, they're not eating it. They get the tomato surprise, which is like this little red soup, and it literally disintegrates TJ's spoon.
Yeah.
Which I think is really funny.
It's very acidic. And what's great about us watching this is that actually comes back in the last episode we watched too.
I know, it's great. It is a really good running joke. And what's interesting too is this shows us really quick is that this show's sense of humor kind of does this thing where it plays around with what reality really is and isn't. So it's kind of like right off the bat, we get a little bit of the unreliable narrator kind of thing. Cause it's like, okay, we know that the spoon didn't actually like disintegrate kind of thing, but you know, it is what it is. And that makes the cartoon more fun.
Yeah. It's
so
like getting
I like
it
that
from the perspective of children.
Right. Because in the next scene, his spoon is right there on his tray again.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, but I liked that. And I thought that was really funny. So I was like, okay. I didn't know that much about this show going in, as you know. So I didn't know that we would get some like over exaggerated jokes and antics in this thing. So I was like, okay, cool. Got it.
I think that's probably 90% of the show is going on these adventures that are definitely played up from the children's imaginations. Because the exaggeration in this immediate one being that the kids are trying to find, because TJ mentions that they have to have like good food behind closed doors, like in the back of the cafeteria, like where all the preparation is done. Like they have to have actual good food because they're just serving this basic tomato soup or whatever it actually is. And so he goes back there to find it. and he sees a literal like golden fridge that says good food on it. And tries to open it up to get that, but then an alarm goes off and Miss Finster finds him and gives him detention, which is how he gets there in the first place.
Yeah, that sets off the events for the rest of the episode, which is the rest of his friends trying really hard to persuade others on the playground to help bust him out. And that introduces us, like this whole episode is a lot of introducing us to all of the tertiary characters of this world that we're kind of getting introduced to. So not only our main characters, but also we've kind of talked about a few of them, like Randall, Upside Down Girl. There's also Guru Kid, which that was new to me. There was the Diggers, which were really fun. Dave and Sam. There's the Swinger, which is the girl that's constantly trying to swing over the bar on the swing set, or trying to get as high as any kid ever has before. Like every school had that kid, the one that was trying to get as high as you could. The kindergartners, which are all like dressed all tribal and have someone tied up, and they're talking about eating everybody.
They're basically like a cannibalistic tribe.
Yeah, they were basically cannibal kindergartners. That was really fun. Just for fun, let's describe some of these characters for anyone that hasn't seen this. So, like, how, in your words, how would you describe TJ, the one that got caught and got put in detention?
All these kids follow a basic archetype of sorts, but they have their own individuality too that breaks them out of those molds. So with TJ, though, he is the stereotypical like leader. He's not a troublemaker per se, but he opposes authority constantly. So he's the rebellious leader, I guess.
Rebellious leader. That's pretty good. He's the one most likely to get in trouble.
Yeah. Yep.
Sure. You've got Vince, who is the most athletic one, and he does not shy away from pointing it out. There's like a few jokes every once in a while where they're just like something like, "Oh, we can't run forever." Well, you guys can't.
Yeah.
It's like things like that, and that's pretty good.
You've got Mikey, who is a big kid who's got like a heart of gold, the soul of a poet. I don't know how to like describe him exactly, but he's just a nice, he's the kindest of them all for sure. He's like the
gentle giant.
Yeah, the gentle
basically.
Giant. There you go. That's exactly the phrase. And he's the opposite of Spinelli, who you can jump into next.
Yeah, Spinelli is the small tomboy girl. She is short. She's a stick of dynamite, man. She is an explosive in a small package, but in a good way. Like, she stands up for herself. She stands up for her friends. She's not afraid of anything. She doesn't back down from anybody. And she definitely has a mouth on her and the attitude to back it up.
Yeah, she's always ready to throw a punch.
But she is so fiercely loyal to everybody, to all of her friends, which is like the big thing. She's got a huge heart, to be honest. So
yeah, you've got Gretchen.
Yeah, the other girl in the group.
Right, the other girl in the group, Gretchen, who is the very intelligent. She's the nerdiest one, but also is the brains of the whole operation. Like, she gets them out of binds. She always has like statistics on their rate of success for things.
Yes, those are good. And I don't understand this. This threw me off. What is the thing that she has? She's basically has a smartphone. Named Galileo.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
I guess it's just a personal computer, or just like a tablet thing that she created.
Okay.
It really is. I don't know what to call it, but when there's a problem, that will kind of give like exposition on it.
Okay.
Or like help to solve the problem that is otherwise unsolvable.
Sure.
Deus Ex Machina, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of did like think that a few times. It's kind of it just gives them any info they need at the time.
Right.
The last one to join their group, and he is not in this episode, is Gus, who is the new kid. And I would say Gus too is like Gretchen's the nerd. Gus is also a bit of a nerd from what I can tell. Now I feel like I didn't get a whole lot of Gus's personality aside from he seems to have a lot of interests.
Yeah.
Music being one of them, at least in one episode that we saw. I don't know if that carries through, but
Gus is sort of the shy, like mysterious kid because he's a new kid, and they really play up the mystery part of it. Like there are constant things where he surprises the group because like, oh, like we didn't expect this from, shy little Gus. He's the one who's paranoid though. He's kind of the piglet of the group too, because he's just like
sure.
nervous about everything and plays it safe whenever he can.
Got it. So the somewhat coward of the group.
Yeah, basically. Less the nerd, more the coward.
And though this guy isn't part of the group, you've got Randall, who is the rat. he is the teacher's pet that the teacher probably doesn't even like, but only uses him because he will constantly rat out everybody else. He's just a little piece of garbage kid.
Absolutely. He even has the face of a rat.
Yeah, he's just a little ugly looking kid with the personality to match it. We are also introduced in this first episode to the Playground King, King Bob, that you touched on earlier. He is a 6th grader who is crowned himself king, and he kind of lords over everybody and keeps everybody in line, in check and stuff. And what happens in this episode is like they have no luck trying to get all these various groups and people to help them get TJ out of the cafeteria where he's being cooped up for instead of being able to do recess. So Spinelli kind of they go and appeal to King Bob, and Spinelli just kind of gets in his face because he refers to TJ at some point as being some dumb kid. And Spinelli is just like, well, you're some dumb kid, and then goes on this speech about it, to which also Mikey and Gretchen also kind of help her out there and explain a little bit more. But yeah, she really kind of hits the nail on the head. And the moral of that story is like, we're all some dumb kid to somebody, which basically makes us all equal. So shouldn't we treat each other the same way? And that actually gets through to him. And so him being the king, he gets everybody on the playground together to help bust TJ out.
Yeah, and that was a very like impactful scene too, where everyone can relate to that. Like all kids are relating to that. And she's like, that one kid's
We're
like,
all dumb.
Yeah, my mom called me some dumb kid earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny.
So that's when it kicks off that heist type thing where all the kids that we've been introduced to previously are go into action. We see the swinger who is like, she attaches a rope. It's funny when the kindergartners are climbing it, they can't count yet. So there's like 1, 2, 6, 10. Like,
yeah.
Upside down girl opens the door when they swing down there. And then they use the tomato surprise that we touched on at the beginning of the episode to melt the lock on the door. And then at that point, TJ had already gotten himself out. And so because when they go into the room, like he's already gone, like you see him jump outside and he's like, yes, I'm free. Like Miss Finster looks at her watch. She's like, well, and now recess is over. So all of that work was done like
for
nothing, basically.
On both sides.
Yeah. And we do see the diggers again, who ended up in Beijing, China. Like they were supposed to be digging for TJ, but they went all the way to China. And then that's when you see these Chinese kindergartners who have the same sort of cannibalistic mentality and go after them. Like, let's eat him. So, yeah.
Yeah. That was a really good joke to end it on, too. And such an aside from everything else that was going on.
I did want to touch on one joke that I really liked in this episode, being the Guru Kid one. You mentioned him, but when they went to him for advice to how to get TJ out, he just said, consider the bumblebee. Alone, he is worth nothing. With his fellow bees, he becomes a swarm and enjoys bountiful amounts of honey. And so they take it as like, okay, yeah, we need to all work together. That's why they went and talked to King Bob in the first place. But then, like, we see some other kid come up to the Guru Kid after they leave, and he's just like, how do I get an A on my test? And then he says the same thing about the bumblebee. So it's like, this is just the information he's giving out to everybody.
It's just his shtick. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I like that a lot.
Yeah. This show had some really great writing behind it.
Yes.
The second episode we watched for today's show was Dodgeball City, season 3, episode 3, or if you're watching it on Disney Plus like I did, it's season 2, episode 20, part A. I don't know like if that's the correct order of them, but that's just where it showed up. This was the highest rated episode when I looked on IMDb. A second grader reveals Gus's past as a terror on the dodgeball court, a fact of his life he thought he could put behind him. And this is what I was talking about earlier, where he's the mysterious new kid. So he's got all these talents that the other kids don't know about because they didn't grow up with them.
I gotta say that this, I think, I understand why this is the highest rated, because I think this was my favorite.
It's
this
so good.
Cracked me up. It was so great. I love the whole, like, there was so much play on the whole Western theme. Like, I'm thinking movies like Shane and just about any John Wayne kind of film or Eastwood film. But the movie Shane sticks out. This cracks me up. It's basically the premise here is that the fourth graders keep losing to the fifth graders in dodgeball. And they find out that, I mean, as you kind of said in the promo, that Gus has a secret past at another school, that he was like he was the terror of that school because he was the ultimate dodgeball player. He was known as El Diablo, and he was like the scourge of the dodgeball court.
Every time they say El Diablo, at least in this part, it does this like zoom in on their faces.
Yes,
and then plays this little terrified tune.
Yeah, so good. So basically, TJ gets that idea of, okay, I see what we can do with this now. Like, we can definitely use this to our benefit. So he goes back to the fifth graders and he's like, hey, let's do this. Let's do a rematch. The fourth graders versus the fifth graders for all the marbles. But like, what cracked me up about that is he meant it literally.
Yeah,
like they were playing for all the marbles everybody has.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that at first until they kept going, and I was like, oh, they actually mean all the marbles.
Right. Even the cat's eyes, the Clearys, everything. Yeah. Oh, it's so fun. And yeah, so TJ, like I said, he's the one who like starts this trouble usually. Even before asking Gus, he's just like, oh yeah, like this is what's going to happen. This is what we're going to do. So he eventually does go ask Gus, and Gus he says no, like he's not going to do it. He's retired the El Diablo name. Like he's not going to play dodgeball anymore. What did he say? Like he hung up his D-balls.
His D-ball.
Yeah.
I really wish they hadn't said it that way. He hung up his D-balls. Yeah. It was because he, in one of his many just berserker rages on the dodgeball court, he accidentally smoked a little kid with a dodgeball and made him cry. And
made the kid never come out into the playground again. So he
was too afraid.
Yep. And at this point, like, this is where Gus is like practicing his guitar and everything. And you see him like with this kindergartner named Hector who calls him Safety Man. And so he's just playing guitar for the little kid. I don't think the guitar comes in play in any other episode. I think it's just for effect here because it's a Western type episode. So, yeah. Well, I skipped ahead a little bit because I do want to say like a really cool part was when like they didn't know if El Diablo was just a rumor or not. And Gus denies it even existing at first. And so TJ's like, well, I know how he can find out. So he throws a dodgeball at him as they're walking away. And he just like, without even looking, just like catches it in one hand and gets ready to strike.
Yeah, almost throws it right back, but stops himself and he's like, let's go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
TJ, thinking that Gus isn't going to do the match, like he tries to settle with the fifth graders and say like, okay, how about like half the marbles? Like we don't need to play because he knows they're going to lose without Gus. So the fifth grader, of course, is like, no, like we're playing for all the marbles and it's going to be even easier now. So let's just do this. And Gus is still like refusing to play, even as the match starts and the other kids are getting smoked, like easily put into dodgeball jail, where's where you go after you get hit with the dodgeball and you get out.
I love the one fifth grader that he looks across the court and he looks at Mikey and he goes, the stout one. I will make him dance.
Yeah. That's such a Western kind of movie
I was
thing.
laughing so hard at that because it was just so serious.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So what happens is after like almost all the fourth graders are out, Hector like has been playing with this marble that got dropped and it rolls out onto the field and you know what's going to happen, kind of seeing it roll into the path of the dodgeballs. And he goes to pick it up and the Lawson, who is the fifth grader leader, like he sees him and he's like, oh, like I'm going to take this kid out. So he hits him with the dodgeball, like takes him out. Basically in a movie, it's like if a kid gets like shot or killed or something, then
Right.
Gus, being the hero, has to come out of retirement and basically as a El Diablo and bring his A game, because at that point, like that, all the other fourth graders are out. So Lawson's claimed victory, but then Gus comes in his poncho and everything, reveals the dodgeballs that he's got underneath it, and then just starts taking them all out so quickly that Lawson's the last one left. And he tries to forfeit, but then Gus hits him in the stomach with it. Or first he's like, this one's for Hector, and hits him in the stomach. This whole setup of the scene was set up where the mats or the black bars come into the frame, like in those classic movies. And they really play it off like a Western.
It was so good. I love the end too. Like the end was my favorite part when it's all said and done. And he says he's hanging his D-balls up for good, which again, please don't say that. Please don't say your D-balls. Then he goes walking off into the sunset and you get that deep Western narration as he walks into the sunset. That was the last time I laid eyes on El Diablo. I knew him as Safety Man, but I would come to know him as Gus. And just stuff like that. It's just so funny.
Yeah. And then you hear like actual Hector like yelling at Gus saying like, Safety Man, come back, Safety Man, school isn't even over yet, because Gus is just walking off campus.
Yeah, he's just leaving school.
Yeah. God, that's such a fun episode. The last one we watched, I chose this one for a reason, was Terrifying Tales of Recess, season 6, episode 1, or season 3, episode 34 on Disney Plus. This was my pick because Butch reminisces 3 terrifying Halloween tales which occurred at 3rd Street School to TJ and the gang. So I chose this because we are technically starting October, but we didn't choose an episode that was Halloween specific. So
we goofed it.
Yeah, we messed up. So this is at least a slight transition into October with the Halloween specific episode of this show.
I'm fairly sure we did this last year too.
I think we do it every year.
I think we goof it every year, and then we're like, oh, well, we'll do an extra episode too, and then we do an extra October into November, which is probably going to happen this year too.
Yeah, it just should be expected by now.
Yeah, and we might do like a bonus episode of something, like maybe another watch along, like for our Christmas in July thing.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I think I have one in mind. So,
oh no,
yeah, it's gonna be great. But this was fun because it felt very much like a Twilight Zone kind of thing, or like
Tales from the Crypt,
horror, Tales from the Crypt. Yeah. Because you get the 3 stories in one. The names of them are great.
Yeah, you get the 3 stories in one, and they're all narrated by your horror host, who in this case is Butch, and he is first dressed up as Principal Prickly, and then just takes off a mask, and it's just Butch, and then he's talking about how these are absolutely true. These stories that are totally real, absolutely true stories. The first one...
Yeah, he always says that. Yeah. Completely actually happened.
Yeah. The first one is Children of the Corn Chip, which is so fun. Like, that's such a good episode title.
Dude, it made me crave Fritos so bad.
Oh, dude, I ate some chips while watching this episode because it started, then I saw that there were chips involved, and I went and got some chips because I was hungry.
I have been craving Fritos ever since we watched it, and I'm still craving it. And I know that I don't have any in this house, and I'm sad about it.
Shame. You get this chip vendor calling for a snack chips, calling like somebody for a snack chip emergency they sent an order of chips that hadn't been tested yet. And then that's a huge concern of his. Like, he's like, I can't sell them if they haven't been tested. And this little girl walks in who we later come to find is named Corn Chip Girl. Like, that's just what the other kids call her. And so she's just like, I'll test them. And she's like, yeah, these are tasty. Very tasty. And then she transforms into a monster off screen. And we just hear Mr. Kelso screaming. When it cuts to the other kids, like they're talking about, like they've heard the rumor of what happened or heard about Mr. Kelso being attacked.
Oh God,
man, Gus.
Good.
Again, this is where Gus, being the new kid, comes in because he's just got this information where it's like, his dad was stationed in England and a monster was attacking shopkeepers at the time, so he's familiar with what's going on here.
Yeah, so he's also a big fan of, like, what's the show that they've referenced it a couple times?
Oh, Monster Hunter PI.
Monster Hunter PI. I think he has mentioned it and Vince mentioned it in an episode too. And I'm like, I want this to be a real show. I love it. He gets like this detective gear on, this very Sherlock Holmes stuff, starts kind of talking that way. And is just like, well, if there's a monster, they're going to go to the roof because that's where they go.
Right. All English monsters go to the roof.
Yeah. What I love about this is right as they're about to go, all these Cockney kids show up, all these English kids show up, and they're just like, blimey. And they're like, we've got to help. And he just refers to him like, all right, thanks Cockney kid.
Yeah.
It's just so ridiculous.
It's so great that there's always a kid of a very specific type for any time,
for every
need
situation.
It. Yeah.
And as they begin to climb up, he's just like, oh, there's a fog rolling in. I'm like, of course there is. Of course. So they get to the rooftop. And as soon as they get up there, this scene is absolutely transitioned to like a Victorian rooftop. And they are running across many Victorian rooftops chasing this little werewolf girl, which they eventually confront. And then she slips off and he kind of catches her by the hand. And when she goes to, like, she's going to swipe him, he lets her. Well, actually, like he stomps on her hand and lets her fall off. And Mikey catches her down below. But she like transforms back into just regular Corn Chip Girl as she goes down.
They're like, how did you know that was going to happen? And he's just like, fear of falling will transform any transmogrified monster into its natural state. And he's just like, I first stumbled upon this idea about halfway up the ladder.
Right. Exactly.
Like he just came up with it on the fly. God. And then so they round up all the bags of those like werewolf corn chips and ask Vince to roof them, which just means to throw it up on the roof. I once got a bunch of kids angry at me in elementary school because I accidentally roofed a tennis ball that we were all playing with. So I'm very familiar with that term. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah.
That happened to my favorite hacky sack. It was a Pac-Man hacky sack.
Ah, a packy sack.
Yeah, it got roofed. Never seen again.
Dang.
Yep. So they think the same. They think they'll never be seen again. But a fair wind catches it and blows it right into the midst of the kindergartners.
Oh man, and this is like why it's such a good like anthology type horror episode, because it's got that stinger of an ending where it's like you don't have to see what's about to happen to know what's about to happen.
Oh yeah, I mean the kindergartners are already crazy.
Yeah, and that's when it cuts back to Butch as the in between, where it's like back for more terrifying tales that positively, absolutely, definitely really happened. I did want to point out, and I don't know for sure that it's a reference, but I'm almost certain that it has to be a reference to Halloween 3, because when the bus pulls up, these like costume kids walk off. The first one is a skeleton, the second one's wearing a pumpkin mask, and the other one's a witch. So I'm like, that has to be a Halloween 3 reference, because they're just in succession like that so closely. So that was all to that. It like nothing came of that. It was just like these kids walking off the bus. But then it cuts to the next segment, which was when bikes attack. And this is basically Christine, Stephen King's Christine.
Christine, but also sort of a slasher movie since it takes place indoors.
True.
This was my favorite segment of the three. I liked it too because Mikey was putting his like a card in his bike spokes for his bike named Pegasus. I totally did that as a kid. Not name my bike Pegasus, but I put cards in the bike
cards
spokes.
in there. Yeah.
Yeah, so it sounded super loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so loud. left it out in a rainstorm, and the bike basically comes alive and goes on a rampage inside the school. But what I love about this is just how over the top it gets, and it follows a typical slasher movie where but it's still the bicycle. The bicycle cuts the power to the school. And they're hiding in a classroom, and then you see the tire bust through the window of the classroom and try to grab somebody. So good.
They're just what do bicycles fear more than anything? Flat tires. And so they work out a plan to where Vince, being the fastest runner, he is leading the bicycle to run over these thumbtacks, and it does. And I love this part where the tires are deflating and Mike comes to it and he's just hush, save your strength, because he thinks it's dying. The tires start to reinflate, and this is where it gets very Christine, because it puts itself back together, and they all have to evacuate the school. They trap it inside the school and think they're safe after that. But then all the other bikes come to life too. And so they're cornered. They think they're done for after that. And then the bus pulls up and blocks off the bikes, and they all get on again, thinking they're safe.
What I love about it, though, is how it blocks off the bikes is it just puts out that little stop sign.
Yeah. And they all stop.
And all the bikes obey it. Gives them plenty of time to get on.
But the not so happy ending here is that once they all get on the bus, they find out that it has no driver. And so it has also been taken over by this lightning storm. It's kind of like Maximum Overdrive in that sense, too.
They pulled from a lot of ideas, and I liked it. I absolutely loved that segment. It was so fun.
Very. The last one was Night of the Living Finsters. This one was probably the weakest of the three, but it was still pretty fun as a zombie edition.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of initiated by the diggers coming out of a hole that they just dug, screaming. So they assume that they're running from some kind of monster or something. So the was it Lawson? Yeah, Lawson dares Vince to climb in at night and spend the night there. Yeah, that's the dare, and Vince can't turn down a dare. So the other kids then show up to help him out, but he's not supposed to do that because that's cheating on the dare. There's also something where Gus earlier had borrowed someone's pumpkin head brigade tank, which is really cool. I love the way that thing looked. And he couldn't give it back because it got taken away by Miss Finster. So he technically broke a pinky swear. So there was a lot of I don't know that those really came into account in any way, the pinky swear thing, and then the dare being broken, that didn't really affect anything. But what they find when they're all down in that hole is an ancient Finster burial ground, which is a final resting place for Finsters buried through the ages.
But they're all Miss Finsters.
Yeah,
none of them are men. They all look just like Miss Finster, just in different outfits.
So these zombies start to rise. These Miss Finster zombies, just saying miscreants, ne'er-do-wells, hooligans,
My favorite's the pirate Finster. That's my favorite one.
This is where Tomato Surprise comes back into play, because what they do, after they're cornered into this cafeteria room, is they get the leftover Tomato Surprise for the day and put it in the sprinkler system so that it rains down this acid rain on the zombies and melts them all. I guess the challenging part here is after all is said and done, the next day comes and they don't even know that it happened because the trapdoor that was there is gone. The tomato juice is all cleaned up. Well, we saw the janitor cleaning it up, and they're assuming that it was just their fear that caused them to imagine all this. And then we see this pair of broken glasses that we saw kind of tossed under this cafeteria cart earlier in the episode that are still there. So it's yes, that is proof that it did happen, but it's still hidden. And so, yeah, that finishes up that episode where we get Butch kind of doing the outro where he's saying, I think these happened because someone told me they did. And why would someone make up a scary story to tell kids,
Yeah, why? Why would no one would do that? Never.
Just don't do nothing dumb, and you're good.
Just don't do nothing dumb.
Well, Chris, looks like it's about time we send our inner kids to 3rd Street School to see which group they fit in with, and maybe see if we can get a hold of some of those monster chips. then see what they thought of the show Recess.
I thought this cartoon was going to be kind of boring and try to teach me some sort of dumb lesson, but instead it was really fun, and it showed me new ways to use scary cafeteria food, like breaking into locked rooms or killing zombies.
This show was way more fun than any of the recesses I've ever had, which mostly just involved me being a victim to my school's El Diablo. Hopefully one day he'll decide to put his D-balls away. But until then, I'm gonna go enjoy more of the show Recess because it is awesome.
Let's just have everyone just put your D-balls away. Just put them away, and let's never speak of the D-balls again.
Take a moment, put your D-balls away, and have a seat.
Pack them up, put them in that bag, zip it up, put it in the back of the closet, and then cover it with all those blankets you never use. Just keep it there. So let's talk about the stuff that we liked about this show. There's a lot to like about this show, and one of the things I want to start with is the characters, which are all really likable. Even the ones that I vaguely remember disliking as a kid, like Gretchen and Gus, they were a lot of fun, and they had strong personalities to bring to the table. I think the only reason I didn't like them back in the day is because it's like, they're the nerds, and I grew up and got nerdier as I got older, which is kind of weird how that happened. But, all that aside, each character had very strong personalities, and not even just the major characters, but like all the side characters too. Like the writing for everybody was excellent. And I think that was a huge strong point of this show.
Yeah, and what was really cool about the characters as well is all of the, even though it was like a group of way different archetypes, and in some schools, like there would be these cliques to where they would have never all gotten along, but this is just a group very diverse, and they all played a different part. No one was less important than anyone else. They all had their own roles, and they all like worked together. Even though they had those different archetypes, they still all got along. And it was just really cool to see the camaraderie between them all. Something else I really liked was on the surface, like this, it doesn't seem like you could make 127 episodes revolving around the concept of recess, but I think the way they pulled it off was pretty brilliant by translating themes into school-related content in such a fun way. They would essentially have an endless grab bag of topics to choose from, because it's like, yeah, we had that Western episode we watched. We had these like anthology Halloween episode we watched, which was 3 different ideas, which were all pulling from, some different horror like themes, but translating it down to like a elementary school kids level of recess. I just think they did it in such a fun way that it made it to where it's not like a kid's show. Like it's something that you could watch at any age and still find some enjoyment by either just picking out the Easter eggs or just enjoying the humor of it.
Yeah, the humor of the show itself was great. I've talked before about like how much I like the over exaggeration of some of the things that isn't actually reality, but it's treated as such anyway. Like going to the rooftop and then it's suddenly just Victoria, England, because why not? Or that the tomato surprise melts everything, and that joke keeps coming back and makes it better each time. And that there's also a lot of legitimately funny jokes that are delivered pretty quickly that I think really add to the experience, because watching this as an adult, I'm thinking as a kid, every once in a while there's a joke in there that would have gone over my head, but I get it now, which kind of adds more to that credence that, you can enjoy this really at any age. A lot of those times were usually like one-liners from TJ that he mutters while something important is happening, or, like as a scene is transitioning or something like that. I think one example of that is in the highest rated one, where it's the one about dodgeball and everything. There's a scene where they're all inside that little, that diner or restaurant or whatever, when they first find out about the thing with Gus. It's like before that happens, they're talking about their poor track record, and he's like, we win together, we lose together, well, except for the winning. And it's just something like that. I just the delivery and everything of it was really funny, and I just like that. And it was just something so quick-witted that I definitely wouldn't have caught that as a kid, but I definitely did now. What's funny too is like I know that my wife really likes this show, and I haven't talked to her too much about it, but I'm going to take a guess based on how the character speaks that Gretchen is probably her favorite.
Probably, because that is kind of the closest to her personality.
Ro is such a big old science nerd, and yeah, I think she would like that. One of the other things I did want to mention that I really enjoy about this is it does not talk down to kids, which is something that I'm always afraid of when watching cartoons that are meant for a younger audience, especially a cartoon that's older. Now, granted, this isn't super old. This was in the later half of the 90s. But, I mean, it happens, and we've seen it. We've definitely seen it reviewing other shows on this podcast. But you can tell that this was definitely written very well and written by a team that was greatly in touch with their audience. And I think that went a long way and is probably why this still holds up so well to this day. Like, we can go back, we can watch this as adults and appreciate it, and why I think there's such a huge fan base for this show still, where if like I bring it up, everyone's like, oh yeah, Recess. Like, everyone still remembers the show that saw it back in the day and still has a fondness for it.
You know, coming back into it, because I don't think I'd seen it since I was pretty young. You know, I never know what to expect, but this one is probably even better with age just because I can now understand the references.
Any dislikes for this show? Did you find anything about it that you didn't like?
Honestly, I was thinking really hard about it, and there's nothing that stood out to me enough, not even me trying to be picky, that I can come up with. Any of the annoyances that were in the show were intentional, and it was written so well that there was nothing that just felt like either weak or rushed. The pacing was great. I'm not saying it's a perfect show, but I can't find anything that I dislike about it personally.
Yeah, I really thought I was going to find something. I thought I would find something to at least nitpick at. The only discrepancy I found was just that I didn't understand the Galileo thing, but that is not something I can count as a dislike. It's just like where did that come from and how does that fit in with this world? I don't really quite get it, but that is neither here or there. It's not a dislike and it's not a criticism of the show in any form, which is really interesting to me. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump into my final review of this thing, which is that I think it's a great show. I was just so stubborn back in the day and I didn't want to watch it. And I so rarely caught it and judged it really harshly back in the day that I was just like, man, I'm not going to like this thing. Watching it now has absolutely changed my opinion on it. I think it's a wonderful cartoon with great jokes and super memorable characters for anyone of any age. Even not watching the show, honestly, I still knew what all of these characters looked like, and most of the names. I think it's like programmed into the culture at this point. So the impact that you see on the culture from the show is very evident. So I gave Recess 5 bowls of Cannibal Kindergartner cereal out of 5.
Yeah, this show is something, like I've mentioned a few times before, it holds up so well. The characters are all unique and really stand out from the archetypes they're based on, and the humor was spot on. So overall, I'd give Recess 5 big bowls of Corn Chip Werewolf cereal out of 5, and would highly recommend checking this one out. And I definitely want to check out the movies to find out what Recess lore I need to make room for in my brain. Because I think there's like 4 movies.
Yeah, I saw that there is a lot of movies for this. So I'm interested to see what those are all about.
So thanks, Michael, for suggesting this to us.
Yeah, and now I just want to go outside and have recess. I feel like I need to go outside and play basketball, or I don't know, get on the monkey bars. I don't have any monkey bars, but I need to find some monkey bars.
I mean, I guess we technically all have our own Galileos now with the smartphones.
Yeah. What's my Galileo saying? Let's see what it says. My Galileo has no messages for me.
My Galileo's low on batteries. I should probably go charge it. Well, listeners, it looks like our milk supply is now run dry, so it's time for us to say goodbye. And in 2 weeks, to start off our October celebration, we'll be watching
Godzilla from 1978. Suggested via YouTube by David Brown.
And Godzuki. Man, I remember this show. I don't know that it was good.
I don't think I've seen it. I'm not sure, but I don't think so. Maybe I've seen clips of it, like references to it, but I don't think I've ever seen an episode. So I'm pretty excited to take a look.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen the design of Godzilla, and you've probably seen Godzuki floating around somewhere.
Oh, yeah. I see him floating around every time I close my eyes.
Once again, I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
And we'll see you next Saturday.
Presented by Nerdsloth.
A place for lazy nerds.
If you like what you heard, consider donating at patreon.com/nerdsloth so we can continue bringing you quality shows. Be sure to also leave us a review and share your favorite episodes and clips on social media. If you're looking for more content, visit us at nerdsloth.com.